Netflix की film आ रही है. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. First of all, when I got to know that, of course, Tarla Dalal is everywhere. We've all seen her, cook. You are such a hardcore non-vegetarian, you come from a restaurant and a family which owns restaurants, not known for vegetarian food that much, and you chose to do this role. And I want to know.
I really wanted to show the world what a great actress I am. I can look at a plate of bhindi and go like, जबकि मेरे अंदर से I'm just like, like as a child, I had to be forced to eat vegetables. I had to be forced, even now, to eat like vegetarian food. But क्या करे? काम है तो काम के लिए करना पड़ता है तो किया हमने.
Did you try a lot of vegetarian recipes?
Yeah, see, हमारे घर में ना क्या होता था, like my daddy's house also, like आज जैसे for example the kids had to be encouraged to eat vegetables, so हम हर चीज में क्या बोलते थे, अच्छा क्या बनाए, we'll make शलगम, मगर शलगम में गोश्त डाल देते हैं, तोरी में गोश्त डाल देते हैं, अरे कीमा में कुछ पालक डाल देते हैं. So for us we had to balance it out. So I think Tarla ji, what she stood for, which is also quite interesting, she removed the chicken or the mutton out of it and she substituted that with vegetables. So I think in that sense, like, she really, increased the audience base for that kind of food, and it was quite fascinating. Like, there's this, like chicken musallam की एक dish होती है, मुर्ग मुसल्लम की एक dish होती है, जो chicken से बनती है, and how she changed that is that she took the chicken out of it and put like aloo in it, like batata, and it became batata musallam, which was like one of her signature dishes.
Interesting. Also, her life has been so interesting that we've all watched. We've seen her, and she evolved in the years. She embraced technology so well. So, tell me about that whole process of creating the character, which has such a graph. And she passed away at the age of 76 or something. But what a life! And she went into people's homes and gave them, empowering people through the power of cooking. It's quite an interesting thing, isn't it?
It's very interesting, and I feel like, I had the privilege of playing her from her 20s to her 50s, kind of a thing, and of course she achieved most of her success in the latter half of her life. And I feel like what we try to encapsulate is how, a lot of young girls, especially our mother's generation, like, they didn't have the kind of means or access, that we had today. And really, they were told, for so many of them who wanted to do kuch in life, and which is what Tarla ji says, like in the film, kuch karna hai life mein. वो क्या करना है वो पता नहीं है, but कुछ तो करना है. And वो कुछ को ढूंढते, like she gets married, she has children, and then suddenly one day you wake up and you go like, oh my God, like, what have I done with my life? And a lot of, and I saw that like with my mother too, and I saw that with a lot of women of her generation, after having the children and the life, and they've grown up and are ready to fly the nest, and just suddenly have a moment like, okay, what have I done with my life? And then it's sort of like, and I think that's what had happened to her as well, right? And she realized the one skill set she had was cooking, and what really got people together was how she was able to cook for everyone, and she did that, and how she literally cooked her way out into the international scene.
Also, she was vegetarian, which is such an interesting thing, getting into the arena of being a vegetarian cook.
Yeah.
Also, and writing 150 books, I think, is that the number of books she wrote?
I think so, and I think what her contribution was that she was really unafraid. Like, she was the one, I think even my mother, a lot of like, the first time we made pizza at home, or we made like Chinese at home, just introducing India to a lot of global food and cuisines, and to simplify it for us and find substitutes for it. That's what she really, mastered at. Like, she really understood her audience. She really understood the homemaker who wants to try all these fun things because you read about them or you hear about them, but you're also baffled, like, how do I make this at home? So I think that, like the first time, cakes, so many of us like did her cake recipes, the marble cake or the sponge cake or whatever. Her genius sort of really lies, So I think all these 100+ books that she wrote or the show that she did, she knew who she was talking to. She knew her core audience, and she connected with them. She really did.
Oh, also the Padmashree. I mean, how many people who start cooking and, take that as a profession
Only one.
win
Only one.
something.
She's the only one in India who's got a Padmashree for cooking. Isn't that insane?
Incredible.
And as a
Also, she
woman,
was
because, Hmm.
also as a of course, cooking as a profession, women and cooking are supposed to be "Arey, ye to cook kar legi" types, but perfecting the art and not getting, she's not in the sense the degree wasn't there. She did it because she loved it, the passion was there, right? And so it's interesting. And we think, and she was a household name too. She didn't intimidate. She was one of those people who was warm, and you listen to her.
I also, apart from calling her the OG master chef, I also call her the OG feminist in that sense, because I feel today, nowadays, we just associate being strong and career oriented or whatever. There's a certain kind of aggression, but like exactly what you said, like even as a host, she had such an affability about her. She was this lady next door. She didn't have a projection. She didn't have an on-screen image. She was who she was. She was bumbling. She would mispronounce things. She would say things. She'd be like, bhul gaye, whatever. Like she had this way about her, which was so relatable and so like lady next door, is what I think really catapulted her into this fame, because people just found her so refreshingly relatable, as opposed to those deep booming voices that you're trying to put on a show. No, she was just who she was, and that was her strength, and also, she was authentic.
Well, your accent also, you got it spot on. The Gujarati accent, did you have to work on it?
A lot. So aapko to pata hai, I'm North Indian. I'm a Muslim girl raised in a Punjabi neighborhood. So I'm fully Punjabi. I talk like a North Indian. So for me, and as an actor, I realized that for me, most of the North accents and sounds, whether it's Bihari or Rajasthani or Haryani or any khadi boli, is kind of easy to do. But जैसे आप थोड़ा साउथ में आते हो या गुजरात महाराष्ट्र especially, because I did not grow up here, I find those sounds the hardest to do. So for this film, I never attempted a Gujarati character before, and the way Tarla ji spoke, she had also a lot of Marathi influence, because she lived in AP. So it was a Gujarati Marathi, like a mix, which happens, right? So we with Piyush and we discussed like how do we crack this, and we got Hetal on board who helped me with my accent, and she's been wonderful. We literally had like a glossary of terms of things, how Tarla said it, how she did,
and we tried. You can tell us
a few. And we tried to like perfect like our own. The idea was not to imitate, but to find like what the core or the essence of Tarla Dalal was. I think that was the interesting thing. Like things she would say, like namak swad anusar, or like she didn't say salad, she said salad, which is a very Marathi way of saying it. Actually, it's not really Gujarati way of saying it. But then this is how all of us talk, right? Like for me now, having lived in Mumbai, I use a lot of Marathi words, and I'm not like manje. Like I'll say manje. Manje means what? Like so I'll say a lot of things which actually are not my bachpan ka sounds, but now you pick it up as you go along. So the idea was at different stages of her life, like what words she used when, to show us that transition as well.
Right. Also, she also did when she went into the video space, she did one video a day. That's her. I saw a video that was put by her granddaughter, where she talks about how proud she is of her grandmother, and it's animated. Its entire video is animated.
Oh, lovely.
And there she says that how she's seen her grandmother put one video a day because somebody in Singapore told her, "Kya video kyun nahi karte ho?" Next, she comes and says, "Video banana hai."
So how sweet. I did not know this.
Yeah. If you Google, the first thing that comes is that video of her granddaughter who's made it into like and she's very proud of her and stuff like that. Also, the fact that did you go through a lot of her videos to also prep for your role? What?
Okay. We actually had a lot of research, and of course, because we are trying to graft her journey from her 20s to her 50s, actually just till about the cooking show. That's where the film stopped. So that's the period actually. See, once you become famous and what happens, that's important, but that's not the story. The story is how do you become? It's the origin story, right? That's what we're actually interested in. So in that sense, so in her school life, in her college life, or when she got married, or the later years after she had children, at what point, how did she navigate that space? Because it's such a male space any which way.
Right.
And we see that before her, of a woman or a man having done this.
Right.
So how did she really break that clutter? Like, who were the people she connected with? How did she convince them? Those kind of challenges and stories, which I feel are like very exciting.
Also, her husband was very supportive to her.
Yes,
His,
yes.
and then
And
her
see, that's
son
the
later.
other thing, right? I feel like it would not have been possible if not for like an amazing husband support system, right? I always
Right.
feel like whenever we talk about gender equality or empowerment, it's he for
Yeah.
she. Like we cannot antagonize the
Right.
men when we're trying to build a
Right.
more equal world. It's not
Yeah.
us versus them. So, and we have
Yeah.
to like talk about and commemorate people like Nalin Dalal, who really was such a big support system to Tarla and her
Right.
journey. So I mean, the Nalin Tarla is almost like, you have to take the names together because they were really
Yeah.
like one unit, because he sacrificed a lot of things in his career to be able to support
Hmm.
her dreams.
Yeah. Also, in the 1960s, she started cooking classes, and if you went to a cooking classes, it was a qualification that you can please your husband
Mm-hmm.
with your cooking. I mean, a lot
Yeah,
of young
yeah,
girls.
yeah. We had all these, in fact, back in the day, had all these grooming schools and cooking schools and
Yeah.
etiquette schools and all of that.
Yeah.
And the idea was just to catch a guy, which is such a regressive thought in itself. And in
Yeah.
the film also, there's an actor in this, which I'm sure when you see, you'll be quite tickled. Ki,
Okay.
acha, and she also went to this whole thing, ki, cooking sikha ke shadi karana galat hai na, kind of a thing. And then Nalin, how he
Huh.
comes, it's a lovely scene actually. When you see that,
Yeah.
tell me what you feel. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
because I'm sure
exactly
there
this.
is some input of yours to her role, right? I want to see the Huma input
The
to
Huma input
Tarla.
is just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are a few Huma inputs because I feel like sometimes um, these stories are so time specific, right? And the politics of what happens sometimes also changes. So, as
Yeah.
filmmakers, it's our responsibility to choose the lensing of how we tell the story. Like, we were very
Right.
conscious of the fact that at no point should it come across like, oh, you need a husband to give you permission to follow your dreams,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Back
Hmm.
in the day, that was a lensing. Many
Yeah. Yeah.
filmmakers chose, as opposed to saying, no, this is a woman's journey. But
Yeah.
yes, you
He
do need the
chooses.
partner.
Hmm.
Anybody needs a good partner, a man or a woman, to support them. Even if you're a guy who's
Right.
super ambitious and wants to do something, you still need a good support system. But I feel
Absolutely.
like, sometimes, unfortunately, in women's stories and narratives, even when we tell these stories, it's always about like usko ghar walon ne permission di, husband ne
Allow kiya.
allowed kiya.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, no, that's not cool. It's your life, and you shouldn't have to have anybody's permission to live it the way you want to. And hence, as filmmakers, it is, and as creative people, it is our responsibility to just be little mindful. उतना सा फर्क होता है, but वो फर्क बहुत बड़ा फर्क होता है.
Nee, and as a empowered woman, you'd also like to be also putting that forth. Even if a film, the character is of a certain kind, you'd like to elevate her to what is today and what is progressive thought today,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's always about the lensing. Say, for example, I did a film before this called Monica, in which
Hmm.
and I did an interview where the interviewer, who was a woman, asked me, "Oh, so tell me about Monica, who's a vamp." And I was like, one second. My whole cast is sitting over here. Everyone is playing a villainous character in this film because everyone's grey, but you're only choosing to
Yeah.
call the female a vamp.
Ah.
Now that's, you understand?
Yeah.
It's a choice of
Yeah.
words. It's again like
Perspective.
what
Yeah.
you're choosing to say. Everybody is, it's a perspective, and I feel like when often what happens, and as sometimes women also, we are also guilty of it, but we have to check
Right.
ourselves and be like, oh, 1 second, if
All
I'm
the
not
time.
calling
Yeah.
the other character a villain for conning somebody or cheating somebody or sleeping with blah, 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 that's fine, but why am I calling the woman a vamp? So I think it's about that lensing is what I'm talking about, and this is what we have to be constantly aware of, because it's such a slippery slope, right? You don't know when you're going to end up in the trench.
Right. So Z5 Global and you have had a good association over the years. So tell me about this. And
Z5 Global and I think we did Valimai last year, which actually has began my year with, which was this mammoth hit. And then we did a show called Mithya, which we're also doing season
nice.
2 for now
Hmm.
this year. And now, of course, Tarla has found home with Z5 Global. So yeah, I'm very happy. They keep the checks coming, man. I'm not complaining.
And what about your own production? What are you working on now?
A bunch of things. Have a release now this year. It's a film
Mhm.
called Single Salma. I can't talk too much about it because let it all come together. But again, it's
Okay.
a story. it's a film that you and I will have a lot to chat about, I'm sure.
Okay, wonderful. Waiting to hear about that again. I've been given only 10 minutes, so I will not. I'll behave myself and I'll say bye bye. And thank you.
History is never made by well-behaved women, Manju.
I know, but I am just sensitive to my other the other people who are
No,
going
I'm
to.
just kidding. I'm just messing with you. Thank you so much. Always lovely chatting.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
lovely.
Bye.